And we are live. We have signal.
Jolly good. Hello, everybody. Wow, doesn't it come round quickly? So here we go again. I hope you all had a good Valentine's Day. I bet not many people got as big a surprise as Kim Kardashian did.
Oh, God.
Kanye evidently bought, I think it was 1,000 red roses, each in individual little bud vases, and had them put all over the floor in an empty room. And when she came in, there in the middle was Kenny G to serenade her on his saxophone. So where was Saxophone Jones when you need him? I mean, he would have played for 30 bob. However, it started a lot of funny stuff with all the wags online saying, well, did they put Kenny G in an empty room and then put the flowers around him? Or did they put the flowers in first and then repel him in like Tom Cruise from a helicopter? So, anyway, never mind.
Yeah, no, I'm just
I
saying.
know it was funny,
No, keep going. I mean, it's funny, but it's like, I tagged it Kenya because it's like
yeah,
Kanye and Kenny. Like,
yeah,
okay,
the late night comics
new
had
hashtag
great
Kenya.
fun with it all, didn't they?
Yeah.
But anyway, I wonder how Kenny got out at the end. That's the next question. Okay. So, Ruth celebrated her umpteenth birthday last Friday.
Splendid.
And she didn't want any more stuff, so she wrote on Facebook, anybody wanting to do something should make a donation to Tierra Madre Horse Sanctuary, which is run by a good friend of ours and my former boss, Jim Gath, in Arizona. And she coyly put in amount hoped for you, or whatever they ask you. She said $200. The last time we looked, it was over $1,200.
No, it's 1,088.
1,088.
So if you're listening and you haven't bought me a birthday present yet, go throw $1 on my fundraiser.
That's right, on Ruth's Facebook page.
Oh, Jackie Robbo's in from Liverpool. We got quite a few people on from all over, but
Oh, jolly good. Yeah.
and hello, Hansi man, are you still in Austria or are you home? You
He's
traveling?
in London, isn't he? I think.
Not my day to watch him.
No,
Don't
it's
know.
he's Hollywood foreign press. He's
Hollywood?
Hollywood, yeah.
Yes, indeed.
Hollywood, yeah. I've been watching that series with the Japanese guy in it.
Oh,
Is it
yeah,
Hollywood?
Flowers.
Yeah, Flowers.
Jolly
Have you seen
good.
a series called Flowers?
No, it's funny.
It's Olivia Colman, we all know as Queen Elizabeth, but she's very different in this
Queen
series.
Mary, but never mind.
Oh, Queen Mary, oh God.
Sweetheart, you're getting your queens mixed
I
up.
know, God, I'm ashamed.
I know.
I know it's my age. So anyway, listen, should I tell them about Ring Doorbell? Yes?
Yes, go on.
Yeah. You know these Ring doorbells that people now have. It's a device you can have on your front door, which takes a photograph of whoever's standing there and whether they're dropping something off or stealing your Amazon packages or whatever. So some wag has come up with the idea of, let's have a competition to see who can lick the Ring doorbell for the longest. And the present winner so far is a guy that kept his tongue on it for 2 hours. But the other thing about this is, when the doorbell is ringing, it rings on your cell phone.
Yeah.
So that even if you're out, you can answer the phone as though you're in the house. So, I don't know. It probably deterred some burglars, but not all. Anyway,
I just want to know who came up with, let's all go out and lick ring doorbells.
lick ring doorbells.
Ew.
Well, it's like licking telephone poles when they're snowy and
Well, the guy that's winning with the 2 hour lick it was in Wisconsin, so he's probably
Oh, wow.
maybe
He's probably
maybe frozen to it.
yeah. But I wonder what the prize will be. Probably a voucher for a plastic surgeon to get your tongue fixed.
To do your tongue, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh God,
But,
people are mad.
yeah.
People are mad.
But, oh, well, for Game of Thrones fans, this is my last before I introduce our lovely guest. Game of Thrones fans in Finland, they've just built a resort and a hotel entirely out of ice based on Game of Thrones.
Splendid.
So, and it's even got a wedding chapel, so you can go and get married in there in the Game of Thrones place. I bet the bride would need her winter woolies on going in there, wouldn't she, underneath her wedding dress?
Splendid. Which remind Game of Thrones. I've never watched it, but I do know a bit
No, I
about
haven't
it.
either.
Do you remember when you and I were out for a coffee the other day, and we heard this woman in the next booth? She said,
Well, I'm taking the twins to like learning how to ride class. And I mean, Tesla wanted to go straight away, but Khaleesi, she took a little persuading.
Call their children
This
Tesla.
woman's twins are called Tesla and Khaleesi.
Lovely.
Poor little bastards going to school with that.
You've just said a very rude word on the thing.
Could
Never mind.
you imagine?
Anyway, come on, I'm welcoming to the castle this morning my dear friend Glenn Goss,
Yay!
who, for those of you who don't know him, is a talented musician. very modest guy.
Yeah.
Old friend. We met on Facebook years ago,
We
didn't
did,
Yeah.
Angie, and
Uh-huh.
I fell in love.
Oh, Daddy.
That'll be an extra $1.
And it's an extra $1, okay.
Yeah. Daddy number 3 coming up.
There you go.
You fell in love. Who with? The baby or the old girl? Never mind, we won't delve on that too much. So,
We were just talking about how we met.
Yes, we met, I think, on a commercial shoot in the 80s.
Wow.
And you were working with Sly Stone at the time.
Yep.
Which I was very impressed with, by the way. Because he was one of my favorites.
It was great.
yeah, he was a sweet. Well, he still is, isn't he?
Yeah.
We haven't seen him.
Are
in a
you
long
still in
time.
touch with him?
No, but he's an
No, he's had a
amazingly
lot of
talented man.
problems.
Very talented.
Yeah, very,
Just incredible.
Were you involved with that little studio where Ruth recorded with him? It was a funny little place.
No, it was called
in
Silvery Moon opposite the
Silvery
Beverly
Moon,
Center.
That's it.
Yeah, we actually just did a TV commercial for a company at Paramount where they recorded Stand.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
and and everyday people it's
Yeah.
like there's a bunch of ghosts in that room.
Yeah.
whenever I think of Paramount, I of course think of pictures and not sound, but of course,
That's right,
it has
yes.
a huge sound.
No, it's beautiful, beautiful studio.
Is it really?
Yeah, no, it's really
We'll
nice.
have
It's
to explore that for our.
it's
for
not
our
capital A room, but it's still a nice
Yeah.
room.
Well, we
Yeah.
can always call Paul and get you a deal if you want capital.
There we go.
There you
Yeah.
I've recorded in capital.
Yeah.
The A and D.
Yeah. Have you ever recorded at East West? That's a lovely
No,
studio.
but I know
Oh,
I've
it's
been there.
great.
I've been there. It's an
Yes.
amazing studio. So beautiful.
Yeah, we went there for a memorial service to Jeff Emmerich.
go. No,
who was-
Capital.
Oh, that was.
Was the
Oh, that was Capital. That's right.
Yeah,
But after dark, I get very confused
Poor
as to
Jeff.
where we're going. Martin drives or Ruth.
You were
drives.
just getting ready to do something with him too, I think, when
Yeah,
he passed.
we
right?
had actually Jeff Emmerich, for those who were listening, Beatles engineer extraordinaire, who left us last October.
Yeah.
He just mixed one of our guy Nick Marshall's. He did a Beatles song, and Jeff mixed it, so we got to hang out. I know.
They
It's
were
great
going
to
to
see him
work
again.
more together, but just wasn't meant
But
to.
anyway, we digress. We're here to talk about Glenn's
Okay.
music.
That's right, absolutely.
Jeff
yes.
Emmerich's even
So-
more important.
Oh, no, he's not.
Well,
No. So
he
we're
is
in
if
the-
you're me when you're
Yeah.
growing up listening to those records.
Oh, of
you know.
course, I understand. So listen, without further ado, come on,
Okay.
tell us all about yourself. What are you up to at the moment?
Well, at the moment, I just released this record with this Gigi Nadine, and I brought. I'm Gigi, and I did bring Nadine with me, and we both come. We're both products of Beit T'Shuvah, as you know,
Yes, yes.
which is a drug and alcohol rehab center
Yeah.
that I washed up on the shores about 5 years ago with a toothbrush, and that's how I walked through the door.
Good heavens.
And rebuilt my life,
Yeah.
I mean, I can get teary-eyed with this. The rabbi who you know and,
yes.
and is a remarkable person, and Harriet.
Yeah.
And Beit T'Shuvah takes you in and keeps you, for a long time. And I needed to be kept for a long time, and Nathan needed to be kept for a long time. He now is the canner. After a 9-year heroin run, he's a canner at
Good
Beit
boy.
T'Shuvah.
I know, it's wonderful.
So it's a beautiful thing, and the proceeds that we do from this record, half of it goes to Beit T'Shuvah. That's our deal. We started a little publishing company with them,
good.
Beit T'Shuvah,
Nice. Yeah.
BTS Music,
Yes.
and it's to pay for treatment, and
Yes.
and plus I'm a big believer in the arts and supporting the artists, so
Yes.
we get money too. So I don't want to, and hopefully this is going to be a great thing. Something that did happen when we were in the studio last week, we got to work with Phil Niccolo, who's Lauryn Hill's producer.
Yes.
And my I don't know, is he my protege or whatever? My friend got to sing on Lauryn Hill's Money.
Oh,
and
good,
and Phil fell in love with him, and Phil actually wants to work with him and do a record.
That's
Oh,
fantastic.
So
That's great. You never know, do
I'm
you,
really
how
excited
things start. Yeah.
about that, because again, that'll be good for Beit T'Shuvah. So
Oh,
what I
absolutely,
do
yeah.
is always focused on Beit T'Shuvah.
Yes, of course.
And when we do I think we should do the Beatle thing again, or
Well,
do
yeah,
something
I'd
different
love to-
maybe.
Yeah, we do like to do
At
another
Beit T'Shuvah.
one.
It was a couple of years ago. I think
Yes, it
they're
was.
ready for another
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, it was right before the high holidays, not last year, year before.
All right, so we'll figure something out. I think it was a big
Yeah.
success.
We sold out.
We sold out, so as we
anything
should.
that helps to raise funds and look after.
It does,
And
and-
I've been encouraging people like neighbours next door. We're buying all new
I saw that.
furniture.
I got an
and
email
them
from
to,
you.
Yeah,
I got an email
to
from you.
donate the previous furniture. And last weekend we were at dinner with some people in Santa Monica, and they had just emptied out their storage place, and they had some lovely tables and beautiful furniture, hundreds of books. So I gave her the phone number, and I copied you in case
you
had a problem.
copied me. I'm sure she probably
and
called.
she was delighted. They came very quickly and took all the stuff away. So listen, how did the idea come about for this record?
It was really an accident, and Nathan and I had been writing, and we started writing songs that were about addiction, like through the eyes of an addict, but about recovery and about our experience with how, like, living life without a substance, you know.
Yes, very important.
Although in Bohemian Rhapsody last night, Freddie Mercury says, "Being human, sometimes you need anesthesia." Which I thought was the greatest line I ever heard.
Yes.
Yeah.
And really, I was one of those guys that, being human, I
Of
needed
course.
anesthesia. So I learned at Beit T'Shuvah how to not need that, you know.
That's wonderful. Yes.
And Nathan's learned that. He's one of the winners, and we watch people die. So
Yes.
it's a serious problem, and so we're campaigning always to
Absolutely. I think it's wonderful. I think they do incredible work. We've met some wonderful people there.
Yeah.
Like yourself.
Yes,
I'm not
yes.
saying you're wonderful. I mean, marvelous. Don't let it go to your head.
Who's picking up who now?
Well, you know, I've got to keep the flame burning, haven't I?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Don't worry about it, the flames burning.
Oh, yippee!
Baby.
Remember, you heard it here.
Come on, baby, like my
So
fire.
I know there's countless other people that have got the facility and Beit T'Shuvah to thank. A lot of them, of course, don't want it to be known that they've had problems.
Well,
because
yeah, so
I can understand
I
that.
was like that too,
Yeah,
and
of
now like I've reached a point in my life, like with this record. So Davey Alsikinen from the Hooters, he played on this, and he was the one, the driving force that said, "You should put this out."
Yeah.
And we did, and
Great.
and so he did, and it's getting some airplay. Like I think there's about 20 radio
Oh,
stations.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, well, after
great.
you
And-
finish,
That's a
tell
tough
me
call.
who they
Yeah,
are.
well, we had
Yeah.
a radio promoter, you know, for 10
Yeah.
weeks, and he's doing his thing, and
Oh,
we're
good.
getting,
Yeah.
you know, because through the Hooters fans, and
Right.
you know, because
Yeah.
I've written for them, and
you had
I've
some
written
great
for
people
Billy
playing on
Idol,
this,
so
right?
who knows, you know, and
Right.
it's really funny. None of this is really so much about me. I really do this for him, you know.
Yes, that's
it's,
amazing.
it's because I can now give something away that was given to me.
I know.
You know, and the
Paid
music,
it forward, in
right?
other
And the
words,
music
yes.
was given to me. It was a
Yeah.
gift, you know.
Yep.
And all the people that I've run into, like you have through our lives,
Yeah.
Yes.
especially that one guy that you ran into, that
Yeah.
Paul McCartney guy.
Oh, I think I've heard of him.
You
Yes,
heard of him?
yes.
You know, it's like, how do we do that? What do we do now in our lives? We give it away.
Give,
Yeah.
pay
You know,
it
and
forward,
that's what it's really about for
Fabulous.
me.
Yeah. So, is it just local radio stations?
No,
or
no, we're getting like airplay in Minnesota
Oh,
and
good.
Florida.
That's great. So
and-
after we finish here, tell me who they all are, and I can start writing to them and doing things.
All right,
and
I'll
appointing
actually
them.
send you some
Yeah.
of the stations that
Yeah.
are.
Do you have a favorite studio that you like to record at?
Well, always BTS recording studios.
Oh, of course.
But
Support home
no,
industry.
this Paramount was great,
Was it?
and I love that A room at Capitol. I've done
Yeah,
that.
yes.
And with Martin, you've done that, so you know that's a great experience.
Yeah,
but,
they're studio dropping now.
you know, the truth is, you can make magic anywhere.
Yeah,
it's
you
really
can,
right
but-
in your room. You know, today you don't need that.
No.
You know, it's nice because you know, I always wonder, like, you know, in recording, that air that you hear,
Yeah.
that you can't get in your room. You got to get that in a place that has
Right.
air.
Yeah.
You know, but other than that, we make music and we make
That's
magic. I just heard Martin's thing; it was amazing.
Yes.
You were just saying you watched the making of the Pet Sounds.
I did.
Did
and
you? Oh, I
yeah,
can
and
see
so
that.
as you know, that record didn't do well when it came out. And so Brian played it for who else? Paul.
Yeah.
And Paul went nuts. He fell in love with it.
Yes.
And which inspired him then to do what? Sgt. Pepper's.
Sgt. Pepper, right?
Yeah.
And
That's
then
right.
then it was
Yeah.
over
Wow,
for
that's
Brian
going
Wilson.
back.
Once Brian heard Sgt. Pepper's,
Yeah.
he just laid in his sandbox for months
Yeah.
with headphones.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Pretty
see
way
your
out.
I see your Pet Sounds. I raise you.
I'll raise you
I
this.
raise you
Well,
Sgt.
that's what it was.
Pepper.
It really was. You know, it was
Yeah.
that competitive thing, especially between those two,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
they had that mutual respect for each other
That's
and,
right.
and love.
Yes. Yes, sure.
And so yes, it was a healthy competition.
Friendly rivalry,
It
as they
was.
call it, yeah.
Yeah.
So I know you have a close relationship with your daughter, Jane.
do.
I mean, she's a wonderful painter, isn't she? Now,
She's amazing.
does she do any music with you? Do you work together?
Sometimes we used to, and now my Jade really loves animals,
Oh, I
and
know,
she's really going in that direction where she wants to be a pet nutritionist.
Wow, really?
So she's going back to school, and I'm helping her
good
do
girl.
that.
Yes.
And
That's
but
great.
my relationship with her is amazing,
I know,
and because
yeah.
I'm lucky because it could be strained,
Yeah, it
because,
could be,
because
yes.
I wasn't, daddy of the year,
But you are now.
Now I do my best, and it's not out of like guilt. It's out of like it's the right thing to do.
That's right, good.
It's not
That's
like I
great.
can't make up for me not being there,
No.
me being on the road,
No.
but Jade is a cool kid, and she like one time and we were in therapy, and the guy said, "Well, it must have been hard for you with your father away so much," and she looked at me, looked at him, and she said, "He kind of had to do that. He's a musician." She put it right in
Teaching
his,
him to sing.
right. So
Yeah,
it didn't
right,
affect
yeah.
her in the way where she could feel abandoned.
No, I know,
In fact,
yeah.
she's really like independent,
Yeah, I know
and she
that.
loves me.
So,
Through all this.
my next question, and
What's
I
that?
think I know the answer to this. Who were you influenced by in your early music days?
Let me think. The Beatles.
Oh, the Beatles.
Well, really, all of it. The Beatles for sure.
They
I
were a
mean,
band before Wings, weren't
But
they?
they were
Yeah,
the band
that's right.
before Wings, but all that stuff that came out of Liverpool and London and England was so
Yeah.
everything was so refreshing to hear. It was,
Yes, I expect so.
it
yeah.
really was.
And the time that it happened when the Beatles broke big here with Ed Sullivan, you just lost your president and
Yes,
everybody was
and I
on
think
a
about
downer.
that. It was
Yeah.
such a perfect.
Yeah.
We needed that.
Just something-
We needed
yeah.
somebody to save the country, and they did. They did.
Wow.
They really brought like joy and something.
that's right, something
Because look, it was
lighthearted, yeah.
November,
Yeah.
and December, and they played in February, right?
That's right, yeah.
I think
February
February
9th,
11th or
4th,
4th or something.
No, whatever.
But yeah, it changed the world.
Yeah.
It changed the world, and for the better.
Yeah,
For the better, because it was music, and it made
that's right.
music is out of all the art forms, I believe, is the most universal.
It is.
They're
isn't
all
it?
beautiful,
Yes,
and
yeah.
they all speak to me. But for some reason, music breaks down barriers where they may not like Americans, but they like American music.
Yes.
Or they may not
That
like this
surpasses,
country, but
yeah.
they like that music. And there we go, universal, and there's
That's
a
right.
love because we found a connection,
That's
and it's through music.
It surpasses languages, doesn't it?
I think it does.
Yeah.
I think it's a fourth or fifth dimension thing that just
I know.
is an intangible thing. But
It's amazing to me too now, because you have regional music, you have very sort of Bollywood soundtracks are very Indian native sounding music, and you can have the bagpipes from Scotland or whatever. But things like hip hop and rock and roll are just worldwide. They just
Worldwide.
transcend the borders, right? It's
and
just
they always will.
something about the rhythm, something about the beat,
Something about it. And-
Me, I'm very old, so I like show tunes and I like rock
But I
and
like all
roll
that
and
too.
sta-
So I
yeah,
grew up,
stage music.
my first influence, my very first thing that really influenced me was Al Jolson.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there was the
jazz
movie,
singer.
Larry Parks did the
That's
movie The
right.
Jazz Singer,
That's
Yeah.
right.
and who was about blackballed later as a
Oh, I
communist.
know, yeah.
And I was so impressed with that. At 5 or 6 years old, I recorded it, the soundtrack. My parents had a
Really?
reel-to-reel,
Oh, my
and I
goodness.
learned every
Yeah.
song, Mammy,
Yeah,
and
yes.
How I Love You, How I Love
Wasn't
You,
it the
Mine.
first talkie movie?
It was half talkie. It
Half,
was the
yeah.
first. It was in 1927.
revolutionary
Well,
idea.
the jazz singer that Al Jolson actually made was the first talkie.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Oh,
That
right.
was
That's
in
it.
America. I think they might have had something going talkie in Europe before this.
I don't know,
But
yeah.
in America, they had it was half talk, half silent.
I see, yeah.
Very interesting. Yeah, I mean, just the talkies when sound came in, sound marrying to picture, it put an awful lot of actresses out of business, didn't it?
Yes, they did.
Yes,
Well,
they had.
and piano players.
Voices like you can hear in most Starbucks every day now. But at least in those days,
When they were talking like this,
At least they didn't say like in between every.
Oh, we were somewhere yesterday having lunch.
Yeah.
And somebody in the next booth kept saying, like was about every third word. I wanted to lean around and say, well,
Tell them about the sad.
Oh, so there was two women having lunch at one of my favorite restaurants
Why don't you come and join us, Ruth?
in the in LA. It's called The Kitchen on the corner of Fountain and Sunset. Home cooked food's fabulous. If you get down in the Silver Lake area, check that out. And they were sitting there, and one of them said, well, you know, and she's got this vocal fry voice thing, you know, she's like, I really like to be sad because, you know, I find like I encourage myself to be sad
You do
because
this so good, Ruth.
it's like an emotion I can like deal with because I know like what I'm going to be feeling like when I'm sad. So I do like a lot of things every day to like go out of my way to make myself sad.
Lovely! Yippee!
I was
really
doing
deep for listening.
and they were so close to us, I couldn't comment to Angie, and I was trying to do sign language, going, check out what's behind you.
Yeah.
Oh my! It was almost as good as Khaleesi and Tesla, the twins.
Oh God.
What is happening to the world?
Yeah, are you going to come and sit with us and talk to
I
Glenn?
can.
Yes.
I was running the camera, but I can.
Yes.
say hello.
Martin is back now.
I'm not really dressed. I'm in a t-shirt.
You look
Oh,
fine.
but it says the right thing.
It
does say the right
It does
thing,
say
McCartney Studio.
California. Well, these aren't California creations. They're Liverpool creations, but you know, whatever.
Yeah.
Or Wales, or wherever she was at the time. Yeah.
Remember, it was a dark night, actually. She said to me once, who was my father? And I said, I think it was some soldiers.
Filth upon filth.
Exactly, yes.
So
where are we?
Well,
where were we? So
well, I wanted Ruth to ask Glenn whatever you want to.
So yeah, okay. So we met on a commercial set with Tony and Ridley Scott.
Yes. I
Correct.
think it was a Converse or Adidas commercial or something.
Could be, and I think actually the girl that they cast in it, she had been in a George Michael video. She was a very svelte brunette girl with a little bob cut. She married either Tony or Ridley Scott. She became,
Really?
yeah. That was where they
Ridley's
met.
still around, Tony, as you
Yeah,
know.
that's
Yeah,
what
I know.
she
Lots
said.
left.
Well, he had that brain. too.
Yes,
I know,
yes,
very sad.
Yeah.
Very
But so what was your position? Because I was just a load.
I was a PA.
You
So
were,
was she?
well, so was well. I think I was even under that.
No, I think you
I
were
was a
like-
utility.
Catering, I think.
Oh, was I?
I think.
Bringing the donuts.
Yeah,
Coffee bun.
coffee
Coffee
bunny.
bunny.
Yeah.
There was a.
You know, I love that though. I love that
I did
stuff.
too.
Great way
It was
to
like
get to know.
long, days, but
Yeah.
I learned so much
Yeah, you do.
about,
Yeah.
that hurry up and wait business because
Oh,
it
yes,
really is
absolutely,
the film. It's
yeah.
like you get there and then you wait. And
Yep.
You wait.
And they're like, we're losing the light. We're losing the light.
And then there's 3 minutes of shooting and then
Panic.
everybody strike the set.
It's a wrap. Yeah.
It's a wrap.
But like you say, it's a great way to learn about the
I learned a
business.
lot.
You
And I
learn
met
so
a
much.
lot. I met a lot of people. It's like in between music, sometimes I had to go do something else, and that
Yes.
was one of the things. But that was a cool gig, and I met you, and I met many
So
other
what
people.
would that be? 1986 or
Yeah,
so?
around that, a
86?
little later, 86, 87, I don't know, somewhere.
God, so that's
Okay.
We've known each other since before we were born.
Yeah.
Because I just turned 39 last
know.
week.
I
Me
did
too.
say she had her umpteenth birthday
too.
last Friday. Didn't dare say
Actually,
59.
64 in October, so
Oh,
I can
really?
finally sing
Oh,
the
we
song.
can sing to you.
Oh, absolutely. Do you remember
When I
that?
get home.
Oh,
So
when
the
we were
night-
in Russia, Ruth had done a show in St. Petersburg, and then the producer of the show
Time,
asked
dates,
us
era.
back to his house.
Time
And,
dates are, so it was 1988, 89, and I was a pop star in Russia, and I had just done this big thing, a big deal over there, and we'd played in St. Petersburg, and it was Angie's 64th birthday.
going to
and
be
so
at
it was
midnight,
going to be,
wasn't it? Yeah.
right, and so it was just some raging crazy party with like homemade still vodka, and I was like, ooh, yeah, okay,
No, not
draw the
risking
line
that,
there.
Yeah.
And so we got a taxi back to town.
Yeah.
And bear in mind, we'd been all over the place, and I had all the gig money in rubles stuffed in my cowboy boots and folded up in my t-shirt, whatever, because you couldn't leave it in the hotel.
No,
Right.
not there.
So I'm walking around with about 80 years' salary for one person on me, and we get halfway back to town, and we're out all the way, in the middle of nowhere. You
Potholes,
look
remember?
across to Finland, and we're in the middle of.
The lights out.
So the cab driver puts the lights out, turns around, and I think, oh my God, this is the bit where we die.
And
we
I
get-
had the passports down my bra.
and I had the
for
money.
safekeeping, and she had the money.
And he turns around and leans around in the seat and smiles and gobful of
12
gold
o'clock,
teeth.
midnight.
And he'd heard who we were. It's stroke of midnight, and I thought, oh my
He
God, she's going
started
to
to
die on
sing.
her birthday.
When I get older,
losing my hair, many years from now.
Da, 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 da. Oh my
We're
goodness.
just about
Yeah, oh,
yeah.
yes, I
he's
never
singing.
hear that song without thinking of it.
When I'm 64 and we think we're getting rolled and murdered, oh dear God.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, that was that. So you're not getting away without being subjected to one of our weekly limericks. Ange writes a little timely thing to
I
what's happening
create
to the day.
my own little
Okay.
way. It's a very little
All
way.
right, that's it.
So 1, 2, 3. With much looming news of elections,
one can only observe the selections. Now Bernie will run.
That'll surely be fun. I wonder who'll get the rejections. But if showbiz is really your bag, or the upcoming days are
Or
a drag, don't worry, by Sunday
we'll have Monday.
and we'll all have a
reason to nag. All right, that's it.
Oh, cool.
Thank you.
So cool.
Rehearse that one more time. I mean, that's
No.
Hey, can you take a couple
Absolutely.
pictures?
Yes.
So thanks all for tuning in from literally all over the world. We had
Yes.
people from Scotland and
Yeah.
Oh, that's so
Liverpool and
cool.
Australia
Yeah,
and
Yeah,
a lot of people for Glenn. We'll see the thing.
people
Yeah,
having
yeah, yeah.
lunch. Charles said having lunch with Glenn and Angie. So somebody's sitting there eating lunch and
There we go.
enjoying
Okay,
new
Charles,
music.
push
I
me
would
on the
like
phone.
to promote Gigi Nadine one more
Well,
time.
she's really songs from a rehab. So Gigi Nadine is
Songs
we're
from
the
a
artist,
rehab.
but the album's
Right.
Gigi is songs from the rehab.
And where can people find this?
Online, the normal like Amazon and iTunes
Oh, good.
and
Great.
Spotify and what else? Anything else?
All the
All
usual.
that.
All that stuff.
All that. And so you will be not only supporting these two fabulous humans, but you will also be supporting Beit T'Shuvah,
That's correct.
Yes.
which is a fabulous non-profit right up here on Venice Boulevard, very close to us in West LA, under the direction of Rabbi Mark Borovitz and the lovely Harriet, and they are just doing
Yeah.
yeoman's work.
There we are.
And dare I say, I'll drink to that.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Drinking my drink here.
Good job,
There you go.
kids.
Thanks for tuning in.
Oh, it's a pleasure.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Oh, you got to get some tickets.